audience. This is Paranormal Truth Seeker. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about UFOs. Now, before we get started, if you would, please like and subscribe. I'm going to try to bring you more videos. I'll do some live investigations out in the field on many different subjects. So please like and subscribe. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. As a paranormal investigator for many years, I've been asked, have you ever seen a UFO? I guess we have to define what is a UFO. So we're just going to go with a simple terminology, unidentified flying object. So, could it be a bird, plane? No, that's Superman. Who knows? But and sometimes it's misidentification of aircraft or some sort of aerial phenomena. But there are those cases out there that are very interesting and they deserve to be looked into. So, answer your question, yes. A couple of times in my life, maybe 3 times, I've seen something in the air that couldn't be explained. First time I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, living in California. They had it the next day in the newspaper, as I recall, that there was something sighted, and the Navy sent out planes to chase it off. And so that was my first experience with it. Learning about those kind of things, and of course TV shows out there that spoke about them sometimes, and of course the obvious invasion movies and whatever. So don't know what it was, but apparently showed up as a blip. The Navy sent fighter jets out to check it out. I remember F-4 Phantoms kind of circling the area where we saw this object. All it was just something shining bright there for a few seconds and then gone, but apparently it showed up on radar. So my next experience was probably in about 1980, maybe 79, 80, somewhere in there. And what happened was, my mom had a police scanner when I was younger, so she knew everything that was going on in the town that we lived in. Pretty big town, but any case, so it came over the scanner that people were seeing this red light. It was near a military base. It was going up and down. And it looked a lot like the red lights that you would see on maybe a cell tower or something. We saw it, but we didn't think anything about it. We thought it was military. But people saw it, so people called into the police and said, hey, what is this? The police called the Army, and they said, we don't know, and the Air Force sent over some planes, and it was gone. So a number of people saw it. There are other events out there that are much more well-known than what I just told you. Maybe you got your own experience. We could go with the Travis Walton story where the guy was kidnapped, and whatever his friends saw it happen, they almost were charged with his kidnapping and possible murder till the guy showed up. So that's an interesting story. But let's go back a little further in time. Maybe Roswell. We could go there. But even before Roswell happened, there was the Battle of L.A. Now, there are other stories out there. For example, in Aurora, Texas, where allegedly a UFO crashed. So these are some of the things that you can look into for yourself. A good source, again, going back to Dennis Houck's book. But with that said, so it's been long documented. You see paintings and things that have these unidentified aircraft. Some people say that some of the prophets, I believe it was Ezekiel, saw a wheel within a wheel. So, who knows what these things are. What we can't say is there's some sort of aerial phenomena. Where they come from, I don't know. But some of the better cases are going to be the Roswell incident, which nobody knows the truth on that one. But in 1952, I think it was in July or so, from the 12th until about the 29th, there were UFOs that were sighted in the Washington, D.C. area. But before that one, okay, now they got pictures of that, was the Battle of L.A., which I mentioned earlier. So what happens is we all know that, if we know our history, the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. And so we set up coastal defenses on the West Coast thinking that the Japanese were going to invade us, potentially. So they're watching for air raids, and they have anti-aircraft batteries set up along the coast. And so what happens, it's kind of late at night, and all of a sudden this craft is spotted flying along the coast. So what do? Well, we don't know whose it is, but we're going to shoot it down. So they started firing at this thing as it's moving up the coast. So by the time it gets to L.A., people are riled up. They hear the guns going off. The searchlights are on this object. So literally thousands of people saw this thing, and they could actually hear the rounds hitting this thing and kind of bouncing off. So the rounds weren't even affected. Some of those rounds came back down, exploded. I think killed a couple of people, and one individual had a heart attack. So when people say there's really no evidence, there's a lot of evidence. We go to 1995, for example, lights over Phoenix. So we don't know what's going on. It's some sort of aerial phenomena. Some people believe that we share the Earth with some sort of other life forms that's way much more advanced than we do. They have bases underwater, so they see these underwater submerged objects, USOs, going through the ocean. So, or UFOs crashing into the ocean. So there's a lot of reports out there. Like I said, I've seen a few of these lights out there myself. I don't know what they are. I think it warrants more investigation. If I get a chance, I'd go out and do some investigating on that stuff. But I really haven't done it much. But my opinion is there's something going on. To say that they're extraterrestrial, I don't know. I think our military is much more advanced than we know, and they keep that stuff secret. Whether they got it from crashed alien ships or just developed it over time, like we see this happen with the automobile and other things in our lives. So maybe they developed it, maybe they got it from aliens, maybe who knows where it came from. But we can definitely say that the phenomenon is real. We're not the only ones who record it. The Russians have got it, and so have other governments, and they speak a little more openly about it. So that's my opinion on UFOs. If we ever get on doing a UFO investigation, we'll definitely post it on the channel. Again, I ask you to like and subscribe, and I'm going to bring you more stories and maybe sources that you can use to educate yourself and enjoy. So, thank you.